All right, let's talk about something that, can really keep you up at night. It's that nagging question. When you see something bad happen and you just stand there, are you to blame? We're going to get into that today.
So I want you to put yourself in this scene for a second. It's a situation that is unfortunately super common. Maybe you've even been there yourself.
You're on your way home, maybe on the bus, and you see it. It could be anywhere, really. Someone getting picked on at work, bullied online, whatever. The details change, but that feeling is always the same. And just like that, your system floods. You get that jolt of adrenaline, right? Your heart starts pounding in your chest, and your brain is just scrambling. What's happening? What should I do? It all moves so incredibly fast.
So you do that thing we all do. You scan the room, you look around, and yep, other people are seeing it. You might even lock eyes with someone and poof, they look away. Everyone is watching.
And there's this weird shared freeze frame. It's like the entire world is on pause, and the only thing still playing is this horrible thing that's happening.
And right there, in that moment where nobody does anything, you become part of that silent crowd. The moment eventually breaks, it's over, and you're just left with this awful, sinking feeling in your stomach. And that's the question, right? The one that just eats at you later. I mean, we all agree the person doing the bad thing is wrong, obviously. But what about us? What's the moral weight of simply not acting?
Okay, so before we start pointing fingers, even at ourselves, we have to understand what's happening in our brains in that moment. Because the truth is, really good people, people with the best intentions, often do nothing, and there's a reason why. I mean, there's a whole mix of things going on that just slam on the brakes in our brains. We're scared of getting hurt, sure. We're worried about looking stupid. But two of the biggest reasons have to do with the fact that other people are there. We look at them to figure out what to do, and we just assume someone else is going to step up. And that big one, it has a name. Diffusion of responsibility. You see all those other people and you think, oh, for sure, somebody else is going to call for help or say something. But here's the catch. When every single person is thinking that, nobody does anything. It's this crazy paradox where having more people around actually makes it less likely that anyone will help. So, knowing the psychology is super helpful, but it doesn't really get us off the hook morally, does it? To really tackle that question, we need a way to think about it, a kind of framework for when we are and are not responsible for others. Let's break this down. In ethics, there's this really clear line between doing harm and allowing harm. Actively pushing someone is clearly wrong, but what if you see someone about to fall and you just don't reach out your hand? That's where things get murky, and that's where our responsibility really comes into question. And this is where a lot of philosophers land, on this simple but powerful idea. The thinking is, our moral duty isn't just about not hurting people. It's also about preventing harm when it's easy for us to do so. I mean, think about it. Calling 911 when you see a car crash costs you almost nothing, but it could literally save a life. Not making that call feels wrong. So here's the takeaway, right? This isn't just a simple yes or no. It's not a switch you flip. It's more like a scale. The more obvious and dangerous the situation is, and the less risk there is to you personally, the greater your responsibility to do something. And of course, if you're in a position of authority, like a manager or a police officer, that responsibility is way, way higher. Context really is everything here. All right, so if we can agree that sometimes we do have a duty to step in, the next big question is, how? I mean, knowing the psychology and the philosophy is great, but it's kind of useless if we don't know what to actually do. So let's make that shift from just understanding why we freeze to learning how we can act, how we go from being a bystander to being an ally. You know, when something bad is happening, it feels like you only have two choices, jump in or stay out. But it's actually more than that. You can be silent and just watch. You can actually be complicit, laughing along or encouraging it. Or you can choose to be an active bystander, an active ally. And the goal is to consciously push ourselves into that third group. And here's the best part. You don't have to be some kind of hero to do something. There's this really simple, really practical toolkit called the 4Ds. You don't always have to go direct and confront the person. You can distract, just create a diversion. Hey, do you have the time? You can delegate, go find a security guard or the bus driver. Or you can just delay, wait until it's over, and go check on the person who was targeted and offer some support. Any of those is a world away from doing nothing. And I really want to be clear about this. The point here isn't to feel guilty or to beat ourselves up about the times we've frozen the past. It's about looking at those moments, understanding them, and giving ourselves the tools we need to make a different choice next time.
Okay, so as we start to wind down here, I want to bring this all back to you. Let's get out of the theory and into the real world.
And just be real with yourself for a second. Think back to a time that happened. What was it that held you back? Was it fear? Was it just pure confusion? Or was it that diffusion of responsibility we talked about? Just naming it for yourself is a huge first step. Now, let's zoom out a little. Think about the world you live in, your job, your friend group, your neighborhood. Who are the people who are most likely to be targeted while everyone else just kind of looks the other way? Just being aware of that ahead of time can actually prep you to act when that moment arrives.
And last thing, what is one small, tangible thing you could do differently next time? Maybe you decide your go-to move is going to be to delegate. Or maybe you just make a promise to yourself that you'll at least delay, that you'll check in on the person afterward. Because here's the thing, doing nothing is a choice. But choosing to be an ally, even in the smallest way, that's a choice too. And it's how we start building a world that's just a little bit better, a little bit safer for everyone.